Have you heard the phrase stolen valor? It is when someone falsely claims military service or wears medals they never earned to gain recognition or a benefit. Ananias and Sapphira did not commit stolen valor, but their actions involved a similar kind of deception. They wanted people to see them as fully devoted to God when the reality was different. But their deception was more than hypocrisy. It challenged the holiness of God and the purity of the Spirit filled church. Before Acts 5, Luke describes the spiritual vitality of the early church. Acts chapter 2, verses 42 through 47 shows believers devoted to teaching, fellowship, breaking bread, and prayer, while Acts chapter 4, verses 32 through 37 emphasizes their unity and genuine generosity. Barnabas even sold a field and brought the proceeds to the apostles. Then Luke gives us a sharp contrast. Ananias and Sapphira sold their property but secretly kept back part of the proceeds, while presenting themselves as though they had given everything. Peter confronts Ananias in Acts chapter 5, verses 3 and 4. Why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back for yourself part of the proceeds of the land? You have not lied to man, but to God. Later, Peter tells Sapphira in verse 9, how is it that you have agreed together to test the Spirit of the Lord? Their sin was more than financial dishonesty. It was an offense against God within his Spirit-filled community. The judgment demonstrated God's holiness, and verse 11 says, great fear came upon the whole church. Like Achan in Joshua chapter 7, this extraordinary judgment demonstrated the seriousness of hidden sin among God's people. Let me give you a real life example. I once met a homeless man who came to church asking for help. His need was real, but he claimed to be a U.S. Army veteran who served in the Middle East as a truck driver. The problem? He had never served in the military. His circumstances were real, but the identity he presented was not. That same temptation exists today. We can create an image of devotion, generosity, holiness, or service that does not match our hearts. So why don't we see the immediate judgment described in Acts 5 today? The truth is timeless, but the moment was unique. The church had just been born. Pentecost had occurred, and God was establishing his new covenant community. That judgment was extraordinary, not the normal pattern we see today. But God's patience does not mean approval, and his mercy does not mean that he is not just. Exodus chapter 34, verse 6 and 7 tells us that God is gracious, merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love, yet he does not overlook sin. Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 17 echoes this same truth. God is both merciful and just. His mercy does not make sin less serious, and his justice does not cancel his mercy. Later in Acts 5, Peter declares, we must obey God rather than men. Acts chapter 5, verse 29. So the question is not, how can I look right before people? But rather, am I willing to obey God when he sees the truth of my heart? Does the person people see match the person God sees? People see the outside, but God sees the heart. My pastor has a sign on his door that says three simple words: return with honor. I want to challenge you this week to take those words seriously. Set aside a few minutes to ask God to examine your heart and reveal one area where your outward appearance does not match what is really in your heart. Maybe it is your service, your relationships, your obedience, your generosity, or something you've been hiding from others. Whatever God reveals, don't try to manage the appearance. Bring the truth to God and take one honest step toward obedience. Return with honor, not by impressing people, but by walking honestly before the God who sees your heart.